loudest, money on the floor. We be balling off the course, we be really making plays. She don't really want no beef and she can't say it to my face. Girl, that man was never mine, I just was going through a phase. So please control your hoe before I put it in her place.
Jump City remains a place of progress, where future seekers and history finders go out and make the world what they need it to be. So many larger forces are placed here in this nexus point for the world around us and so much more beyond. So many factors, so many eyes, so many hands, all reaching and pulling at the string. But these five are different. Good morning, afternoon, and or evening. Ladies, gents, all in between and beyond that binary of the internet. Welcome back to Neon Lights Roleplay, and more specifically, welcome back to Jump City Sirens, our Mask Odyssey. I happen to be Foxy, your host for the duration of stream. I use he, they pronouns, and I have around me a lovely table of intrepid souls, forward-thinking young authority crashers who have things to say about the world around them, and I intend to let them say it as loud as they would like. I could tell you all about their lovely deeds and incredible abilities, but instead, I'll pass the camera around and let them tell you who they are for themselves. They're pretty good at doing that. So friends, in the order that I call you out, please tell me who you are, where you can be found on the internet, and who you are bringing to this tale tonight. Let's start with the internet giant herself. It's Ollie Peach Senpai.
About giant, I'm more like a gnome. I'm Molly Peach Senpai, and I'm playing Aurelia or Morphine. Fun fact, I got that name from a season 16 RuPaul's Drag Race star. And she's playing the outsider.
That feels really appropriate given the character you're playing, honestly. I didn't know that, but now that I know that, I feel so much better about that, actually. Thank you for sharing that with me. That feels very fitting. Moving the camera right all along, it is, of course, the largest heart with the strongest arm. I'm talking about Corndog McGraw.
Oh my god. Thank you. It's me, Corndog McGraw, and I'm here as Cleo from the Nova playbook. She's just doing her best. And also not giving a fuck about authority.
Good. You should.
Was there a question? I forgot.
Nope.
Okay.
Thanks for introducing yourself, Cleo. I'm glad to have you back on board for another adventure. Moving on and along to a Neon Light staff exclusive, the one and only Egg Chan.
Hey, I'm Emily or Egg Chan, and tonight I get to play as number 5, the Soldier Playbook, everyone's favorite lab-grown dragon.
Certainly my favorite, I'll give you that much.
Shut up, I said it first.
Same brain.
I said it first.
Alright, I'll give that to you.
It can be everyone's favorite.
Yeah. Well, glad to have you here, Five. I don't want to fight. It's all good. I just want to introduce people. Speaking of which, last but certainly very far from least, if you're anyone who knows anything about anyone, it is, of course, the mother of mysteries, father of horrors, and daddy of dreams. It's Meg Mysteria.
You dream about me?
Sometimes.
Weird. I am Megan or Meg Mysteria, and I am playing Mel Dracos, our resident beacon.
No, that's Saturday. Sorry, I had to make the joke. I've thought that joke every time you say that, and I sorry.
You know, valid.
Wait, bring Mel to the Beacon universe.
Oh my god, that'd be so cool, actually.
Crossover.
Let's do it. Somebody give me the book. I'll do it.
Listen, we'll talk to Tate. We'll make it happen. Plans aside, glad to have you on board, Meg. I love to see your lovely place in this story, and of course, love to weave you weave alongside all these other incredible people and friends. It's time for us to do exactly that. Last time, New Jump City saw us, and more accurately, our heroes, introduced finally to the terrifying scourge that is Vol, the Chained One. An extra-dimensional being from, as he says, the plane of desire, who had truths to share about the universe all around us and his plan for it. Cryptic as those plans were, he departed, having offered the assistance of the Sirens and seemingly received a very resounding no. In the aftermath, more mysteries found themselves yet wrought, but as they are still yet to make themselves fully manifest, our heroes found it best to part about their days. One headed towards their home in Nova HQ to chat with an old friend. Another out into the world to seek out a strange energy and to see the world around them, maybe consider the world they've been found themselves stuck in. And two more off to the very, very mundane task of university classes. With that said, why don't we start? Let's start with 5, shall we? You find yourself on a nice, lovely flight, taking a quick little trip above the skyline from the Central District, from not too far where you were in the East District in Cleo's house, over towards Central District, where you are moving towards the imposing, wide, high helix spire that is Nova HQ. There is, of course, a busy city crowd all about you, beneath you, but you currently are soaring wide through the air as you make your way to land. And as you are doing so, making that sort of arcing, banking spiral towards the ground in front of HQ, you see a familiar, black-suited, ready to depart hero. In fact, might just be the exact same person you're looking for.
Oh, not convenient.
How do you approach,
I
friend?
think, Fives will drop down from the sky in front of Sable and return to human form and say, "Just the person I was looking for."
Kind of jumps a little bit, seeing you land next to them with a slight tremble in the ground from your impressive dragon form before you shift back and just... People looking for me are usually only finding me if I let them. What's up, kid?
Do you have time to talk?
But out on patrol, you want to come with? We can chat for a bit.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Good. I hate hitting West City by myself. Way too many roofs and not enough space to jump.
Good thing I showed up then.
Yeah. Fortunate. Something on your brain, or what's up?
Yeah, a couple things. But let's get moving, right?
You'll see them kind of lean back a bit and sort of like angle what looks like they have kind of their like, you know, usual like stealth kind of gloves on. And maybe you're really getting a good look at Sable's kit. Maybe you've seen it before because you've hero with them before, but you'll see that they have a sort of set of small pods on either side of their hip for where his belt is, and also has, you know, as he kind of lifts his glove up and like kind of presses his thumb down on a certain part and moves it, the leftmost of those pods almost like shuffles around, like sort of shifts a bit, rotates a bit in a gimbal as if following him. And when he presses another button with his thumb, a grappling line shoots out of that pod, attaches to a building, and he then zips him off to kind of like send him kind of careening up toward a rooftop.
Then Fives will jump into the air and fly after him.
You jump in the... I imagine it's a really cool moment of like you like leaping up and then like transforming as you're in midair and then taking off in flight. You kind of, you know, zip back and forth for a while, and as you're kind of, you know, zipping, he kind of is almost... He's much more flying for you, or for Sable, it's more just zipping from building to building, using the claws on the back of his gauntlets, kind of like get a grip where he can and then zip to another point to kind of land somewhere. And so, what's on your brain?
Well, I do think, I do imagine that Fives will make some kind of, like, joking dig about, you know, you wouldn't have issues with this part of town if you just flew. Don't have to worry about how many roofs there are to jump on.
Does a bit of a grapple and then takes a sort of arcing backflip over like a roof sign for a brief moment and just, shut it, we weren't all built that way, asshole.
Well, take it up with your maker, I don't know.
It says, if I ever see the bastard, I just might.
Why'd you make me so stupid?
More accurately, thank you, Dr. Rivers. I love my I love my stealth-based powers rather than being a giant purple freak all the time.
Not all the time.
Yeah,
anyways.
you get lucky sometimes.
Yeah. You just wish you could be the swag.
Does a bit of an arcing under you and like flips to be just in front of your face and just takes another one off. So, enough jibing. What's up?
Well, you saw the gala announcement, right?
Watching it from the screen. Big shit, huh? Victory's getting bold.
Yeah, I wanted to know what you thought about it, I guess.
Takes another sort of arcing stride to one side, lands, kind of like holds for a second. I don't know. It's weird. Victory's always been authoritarian's putting it lightly, but I don't know. She's usually more subtle. Says to me she's either certain of herself or scared. Takes off again, another jump.
That's fair. I think, we see Fives kind of lag behind a little bit thinking about this, and then they'll burst to catch up in flight.
Mm-hmm.
But so... Well, I guess I'm wondering because I've been keeping with a group of people, right?
The Sirens, right? That's what everybody else is calling them.
Yeah, I guess. And, well, a lot of them are suspicious of Nova, of us, I guess.
Surprising no one, really. We're an extra-governmental hyper-power organization full of altered who want to operate control over the entire world if we can. I mean, it's sensible. That control's necessary, but not everybody likes rules.
Right. Well, I guess I'm just wondering, like, how do you balance that when you work with other heroes?
He takes a moment and kind of like backflips onto a roof for a moment and then skids to a landing for a brief second. I don't know. I usually just don't bring it up. I guess people see the uniform and, well, know where I came from and assume I'm just going to be the arm of Nova. Whatever they think, they assume I think. Easier that way, so I just usually don't bother bringing it up.
Fair. I guess I'm just worried.
Yeah? About what?
Victory is crueler than I remembered her being when we were growing up.
He puts a hand on his hip. The kid, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. On one hand, I get it. I read the report at the docks. I'm sorry about your friend, by the way.
I appreciate it.
So I get it. She's scared. Labs say if that kid if that kid gets too worked up, the blast radius could take out half of New Jump City. That's on a good day.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Just, you know. We were never treated that way.
Well, we were River's animals, pun intended, before he got ousted. And after that, we've always been under Victory's collar, so we were a controlled asset. Also, none of us can nuke a city. Can you nuke a city?
See me try?
Jokingly, like, leans back somewhat.
Fair, though.
Between that and also her not knowing where at least half of the rest of us are, figure best to keep the rest of us on a close enough leash that we aren't feeling ready to jump out. Ready to... He kind of flinches a little bit. Leave.
Ready to fly from the nest?
Yeah. I miss him too.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But
Feels like outside of I always expected there would be more of us around here eventually, but outside of me, you, and 3, there aren't really a lot of us around anymore.
I guess I get why with how Katrina is, right?
Yeah, but I guess I always wondered. You think any of them went and found the doc? Or just went up and did their own thing?
Out of character, what do you mean, the doc?
That's the way he tries to euphemize talking about Dr.
Oh, the doctor! Sorry, I thought you meant like the doc like with the K at the end. I was like,
Oh, no,
huh?
no.
Okay, okay. Got you. I mean, after what he did to us, I wouldn't want to go find him, but I guess everyone has their own prerogative.
Yeah.
I've ran
I
into
don't know.
number 7 a few times.
Wait, no shit?
Yeah, you hadn't heard about it?
I hadn't really bothered to keep up with the files, but last I heard she was rogue.
Yeah, I've had to write a couple of reports because the past few run-ins we've had. Seems like she's teamed up with the Cypress League. Doing
Shit.
well for herself, I guess. All things considered. But
I mean,
a little
it's
awkward
good
to have a
to-
family reunion, I guess.
putting it lightly. Shit. He kind of looks a little like pensive about some things, but is like waiting for you to like say anything else you want to say. Alternatively, if you're really trying to like get at his, if your goal, okay, I'll say this: is your goal in this convo like I want to talk to you about some things so I can share some stuff with you, and then we see how you feel about it, or is it more like I want to gauge where you are with Nova right now?
More so the second one.
You want to be piercing the mask right now.
Yeah, I'm like,
Here's
are
that
you
bad.
as with this shit as you are acting like?
Okay, so then here's how we're gonna do this. When you pierce the mask to see the person beneath, roll plus mundane. On a 10 plus, ask 3. On a 7 and 9, ask 1.
Word. Unfortunately, I'm not very mundane, but let's fucking go for it.
What you got for me, Lou?
Whoop. Number 4, a miss.
Ooh, a 4 is a miss, unfortunately.
Excuse me.
So, here's what I'm gonna say to you. I think I like the idea. Yeah, 1, of course, knock your spotlight. Mark your spotlight. And I think if you let me kind of have a bit of narrative here.
Yeah,
I think what's happening is there's this moment of like awkwardness where both you and Sable are in different memories about Dr. Rivers and about your time in the Jade Cycle experiment. And if you will, 5, I think the reason why you don't pierce the mask is because you don't say anything in this moment, and I think the reason is that you find yourself put back in a memory. Can I narrate the memory to you for a brief bit? You are in a wide open field, a barren wasteland in every direction for the most part. Nothing but rolling sand dunes and pockmarked craters and boulders and hills, save for in the very, very, very distance, maybe a mile or so from you if you're looking out, there's a small square bunker set on the top of the hill. You've done plenty of tests, a much younger 5. I'll say you look maybe about 10 years old right now, visually. You've been doing tests on your flight and, your super strength and your senses, and you're changing your transformations, and it's linked to your cortisol levels. But this was a bit of an interesting test. The doctor told you to fly in a single direction as fast as you could, and you thought, okay, cool, speed test. And then you were told to keep going, and going, and going, and then to stop, right here. Still in your dragon form, or at least as close to it. Standing right there. What's in your brain right now?
I think 5's is They're confused and trying to stay alert so that they can complete this test successfully. And because they
please.
Because they can't predict what the goal of this test is, that puts them a bit on edge.
A comm beat goes off in your ear. Your flight time is impressive, darling. You're growing stronger with every single moment. I'm very, very proud of your growth.
You, Doctor?
All right. Now, before we have a meal, I have one more test for you, yes? This will be a new one and not one you've experienced before, but it will give me valuable information on what you are capable of. Or will be.
Throw it at me.
I intend to do just that. Are you prepared, dearest?
Always.
There's a sight beeping the panel is showing as back in the bunker, a hand reaches down to a button. All right then, love. Take a deep breath. He presses the button, and from the slight from the inside of the bunker, we look out into the horizon and see a blinding white flash, followed by a mushroom cloud. And that ends the flashback. Let's go check in on our two friends who are engaging in a bit of mundane activity, perhaps. Cleo, Mel.
I hate you! Sorry.
Cleo, Mel. It's not a super far trip from Cleo's house back into the Central District to head towards Jump City University, and you're lucky enough in that your next class block is actually one that you share. Thus, as the panel centers from our flashback and comes in down from the small bunker window to a wider glass pane, down into a nice, wide, open, almost semicircular atrium-like lecture hall with rows of seats going in an arcing semicircles down to a singular board with several wide screens showing information and writing. From Yorka, as you are both sat currently in your lecture on the history of Alter. You're currently in a lecture on the Silver Ages, as that's where you're at in this semester. You're in a lecture on the you actually started off. You've been going backwards, so you're currently in the late Bronze Age. So it's something like the later portion of the early Age of Heroes is what you're learning at right now. You've been on this unit for a couple weeks, so it's mostly just going over some things and learning about heroes bit by bit. My question for you two obviously is, one, where are you seated and are you sitting together? Two, how accurately are you focused in class? And three, if the answer to B is not very much, what are you focusing on? And otherwise, if you want to talk about anything or listen in, well, let's go ahead and pass the scene over to you all, shall we? Take it away, darlings.
Mel typically sits in probably the front or second rows, in the first couple of rows.
Sounds good to me.
You're probably closer to the end near a door, so that if she needs to leave, she can. Which doesn't happen often, but if she needs to, she can.
I think Cleo has slowly been making her way towards where Mel is sitting, convinced that Mel's kind of blind, which is why she's choosing the front row. So she's like, all right, I'm kind of sit closer to her. But at the same time, she wants to be far enough back that she can have 25 tabs open and be able to bounce between them without distracting anyone behind her, because she's considerate. And also doesn't want people knowing her business. Which is what it comes down to more so than any consideration for others whatsoever. She's got all her tabs open. Yeah, no, Cleo's got her computer out. One leg is up on the chair in front of her. Kind of lounged back looking through a bunch of different things. She has a headphone in one ear, listening to an audiobook or something that she deems worthwhile while being here. With that headphone kind of hidden by the mass of her hair. 'cause she doesn't want to get in trouble. She's not trying to cause a problem in this classroom, but she is actively thinking about anything else. But this point, though, I think she would be focusing a little bit more now on like any type of hero that might have the ability to change shape of their bodies or become other people and stuff like that, because she's not sure how old Turncoat is, how long they've been around, or if they have family members with a similar predisposition or anything like that. So she'll tune in when that comes up, if it ever comes up, but otherwise, she's here. She's here to get the class credit.
You think you might be trying to tune into, or just looking for info that sounds like it's related to Turncoat?
Maybe that and experimenting on heroes. Anything that like was born out like kind of like Fives. But like when they thought it was ethical, or when they began trying to create heroes versus them just kind of being born.
It's so I will say, and I'm coming to you, Mel, next to ask you similarly how well you're tuning in. But for you, Cleo, I'll say that while it's not going to be, it won't be mentioned a lot in this lecture because it's a lot on like earlier hero ages. One, you do hear some rare things about like a couple of heroes who can shapeshift and things like that. You do find an interesting thing that like basically you do hear an interesting like mention of this scientific principle, basically called the shapeshifter's parable, where basically the idea is every shapeshifter seems to have some limit on their power. Either they can only become somebody in a certain distance, they have to become a living person, they can only become somebody temporarily. No matter what it is, every
I've seen that anime.
Yeah, every shapeshifter has some kind of limit on what their power has to, like how their power has to work, basically. That's the first thing you might tune in for. A second thing you tune in for, even though it's not like it's mostly just a passing mention because this isn't like relevant to his age, but when she does mention a hero who did work with like modifying themselves and their own genome, one of the first like a hero, an early hero called the Mighty Lizard. Funnily enough, think Spider-Man's the Lizard, but a hero rather than a villain. But he mentions, he does say the professor, whose name is Margaret Zameen is her name. Professor Zameen does say that the Mighty Lizard came out decades before. And she does say the Rivers Treatise, which you would know or either you or Mel would know if you've been listening in class. The Rivers Treatise was a recent law that came to light after an event that's not really super well covered in the public, but a known Nova scientist was outed as having done some ethically questionable experiments. And after his ousting, yes. And after his ousting, there was a grand, like, semi-public court case that ended with
where's the can?
Basically a war crime law being convened that, like, hey, there's a limit on what you can do as far as like genetic modification of yourself or other people. So, and that's again just a very passing mention of like the Mighty Lizard happened years before the Rivers Parable. But when she said the Rivers Parable, I think you do remember. Oh, right, we did learn about Dr. Rivers. Oh, hey, maybe that has something to do with Fives and people like them, actually. So that's kind of the two things that I think might ping you a bit. But otherwise, it's a pretty standard class.
I can't remember. What are Doc Rivers' pronouns?
He, they.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, Mel, how well do you think? What's in your brain? Actually, yeah. So, yeah, Mel, where are you right now? How locked in are you on class? What are you up to? What's in your brain if otherwise?
I think Mel is trying to focus, and she is taking notes. But I feel like some of this is also stuff that, she's probably heard things from, like, her grandfather.
Absolutely.
But I think overall, as far as being focused in class goes, she might not be very focused right now.
Understandable. What's in your brain?
I think she might be stuck a little bit in this concept that Vol introduced about the universe not being what they thought it was. and how it worked.
Reasonable. And I think that's a fair thing to be thinking about right now, given that you all literally just met extra-dimensional Satan, who told you the universe had multiple realms. So, I think it's fair to be a little bit, concerned about that, I'd say. So,
Only if Satan were a slut.
I mean, yeah, kinda. You seen that waistline? Jesus. Anyway,
Especially for someone who's very focused, who relies on being focused and grounded in reality and being very sure of her footing and where she is.
Mm-hmm.
This idea of things not being certain has got her pretty shaken up.
Absolutely. So, I think, I'm gonna let this pass. I think, Mel, you're definitely kind of like... Actually, Mel, could you roll to take a powerful blow for me, I think, right now? Is that okay?
Boy. Sure.
You're gonna roll 2d6 plus your number of conditions. You did clear your angry last episode, yes?
Yes, so I'm rolling with +2.
All right. What you got for me?
5.
A 5 is the best thing you could have rolled here. Mel, why don't you tell me what thing you do, what mental or physical trick you are using so that even while you're thinking about how big the universe just got, you are able to hold your ground. Like, you're able to keep yourself here. What thing do you do? What are you thinking about? What are you saying to yourself? What keeps you here right now?
I think maybe like Cleo she's got an earbud in, but I think that she's got accommodations that maybe allow her to get away with that. And she's like kind of counting the beats in the music, going with the tempo and counting it.
Perfect. So, tell me if this feels appropriate. I imagine maybe Cleo, as you're like not too far from Mel, you maybe see her like take a nice sort of long, slow, like, diaphragmatic breath, in the nose, slowly held and then very slowly breathed out. All just like you can see Mel clearly trying to keep herself very grounded. And I think your first assumption probably is like, oh yeah, we all just learned some shit. It's, there's a lot happening with us right now. It's... How do I want to play this out? I think your teacher does a thing that they do often, where she lets you all kind of break into a bit of like group note-taking effectively, where people can kind of share notes and kind of talk about subject matter for a bit. Basically, what it accurately is about 5 or 10 minutes of free time during the middle of class, but people use that for everything from just like taking a break to getting up, go to the bathroom, sharing notes. So you see some of your classmates begin to kind of like, turn and chat with each other. And Cleo, I think not too far from you, you'll see a younger woman kind of turn behind her to the man over her shoulder and just, you still tweeting about it? And just, look, I just feel like it's a pretty big deal, Like, I don't know why we would stop talking about it. And like, if we don't talk about it, I don't think anybody else is. And she just, okay, look, I get the activist thing's a cute look for you, but it's just, I don't know. We don't even really know what happened, And then someone else pipes in and just, you guys talking about it too? Yeah, I started seeing the hashtag earlier, and I think it might be kind of interesting. I don't know. I haven't really found a lot of info. It's kind of hard. There's no articles or anything, but I don't know. What do you guys know? I don't know. They say, like, there was that incident that lost us that hero lately? Yeah, they say Nova got involved, and it was like some villain kid. He's not a villain. He's literally just a kid. Look, I don't know, but they said he was there with the villains. I don't know. Point of the matter is, according to some people, he was seen entering a Nova transport and no one's seen the kid since. Like, they took him? I'm not saying it, but I'm not saying it. The third person, yeah, I heard those Sirens were there and made a big fucking mess of everything. Like, buildings got tossed and something got sent flying, and in the aftermath, well, Cass was with them, and I don't know, I guess none of them could get to her and keep her safe or protect her or stop whatever hit her? I don't know. You ask me, this is kind of on them.
I'm gonna get up. Sorry, I can't see the board. Sorry. And she's just gonna like work her way down, climbing over seats if she has to. Sorry, just can't read well, and I'm just gonna plop in the seat next to Mel.
Oh, hey, okay, jeez. And you are down next to Mel now.
Sorry, I can't see the board. Oh, Mel. Why are you so close? Front.
Helps me focus. Hi.
On this? On class?
Yeah?
Okay. I guess that makes sense. People back there are talking shit, so that was distracting. Okay. I guess I can make this... make do. Hey!
Mel, do you like tune in or like listen in for a brief moment when Cleo points out that people are talking shit?
Yes.
Then yeah, you tune back in just hearing like, yeah, I mean, my mom said she was at the gala with Athena and she looked broken, really. Yeah, it's not easy to lose your kid, especially in an incident like that. I don't know, you think that many heroes there and Nova showing up that fast, something could have stopped it, but nobody was good enough. It's really shitty. Like, someone says, look, I don't think that's the way we should be thinking about this. Like, frankly, the point of the matter is Nova has a kid locked up. You think Nova has a kid locked up. Lots of people are thinking Nova has a kid locked up, and if they do, that's kind of fucked up, yeah? Okay, well, what about those heroes who were there? Why didn't they stop it from happening? Clearly it isn't that bad, right?
I think at that point, Mel was probably gonna like close her notebook and just get up to leave. She's tapped out and done.
Leo,
I brought chocolate. I'm just gonna get up and follow Mel out. But as I do, I'm going to gently crop dust the people that were behind us.
You stand up and they like, I'm just saying that it's a... Oh my god, dude, do you smell that? Dude, what the fuck, man? Don't just call it out like that. I didn't. You called it out, so you definitely did it. I'm leaving, dude. Come on. Cleo, this sounds like you might be trying to comfort or support somebody.
I'm trying to support someone, definitely.
How about you give me a roll plus mundane?
No! Why?
Because I want y'all to roll more dice!
Mundane? Okay, here you go.
What we got?
4!
Oof. Yeah, y'all are not doing great with these rolls today.
Oh no, 5, sorry. One better.
Yeah. 5 still isn't much better. Would you like to pull one from the team pool to... Actually, I guess that wouldn't help. It would only make it a 6, huh?
Mm-hmm. I would need to pull 2.
You need to pull 2. Well, there is 2 in the team pool.
I did post on the stream. I did buy the $4,000 item and said that instead of it making Foxy Foxier, that it was just giving me a +4. So I feel like that should be allowed.
Sure, fine, whatever. I like you today.
Yeah, bitches! I succeeded.
All right, on a 9, they hear you. So first off, so what happens is, Mel, mark potential, clear a condition, or shift labels. If you want to open up to what Cleo was saying. If you'd like, you can wait and think about it while Cleo actually opens up to you, and then you can decide on how, if it hits you well, after that.
I think I kind of want to wait and see what Cleo says.
Cleo, you march out of the hall, out of the classroom behind Mel. Nobody stops either of you because, well, it's middle of break time. So you walk out, and manage to kind of catch her in the hallway. And what do you say? How do you approach? What do you do? Let's go ahead and do a little. Oh, you know what? Put the fucking sentimental music back on.
Sentimental. Ew. So Cleo's going to offer you a piece of organic dark chocolate mint crunch. Chocolate with peppermint infused sugar crystals. Those guys suck and are stupid and wrong. That we're back in there. And we know that. We have to know that, because if they're right, that's bad. So they're gross and stupid and wrong. Also, when we walked out, I farted at them, which I'm pretty sure is against the Geneva Convention, but... Here. Are you okay?
I'll be okay. I know myself well enough to know that if I'd stayed too long, I would have said something.
I mean, if you need someone to rile you up, so you go say something just to get it out, I can also be your hype woman, if that's what you would like. But I think you're being very reasonable and smart. Because I kind of wanted to rip them a new one, but then you left, and I was nervous. You might not be okay, more so than I was about trying to fit a chapter book in someone's mouth. I don't know if I could do that. I would just try.
One thing I've learned in watching my mom is that people are going to talk. And you're just going to have to deal with it. If they think that we fucked up, and Mel doesn't really swear, so this is kind of a
Eyebrows go up.
she might genuinely kind of feel a little bit off if they think we fucked up, then nothing's gonna really change that. It just matters whether or not we think we fucked up.
I mean, I definitely fucked up because I wasn't even there.
You were knocked unconscious. And we didn't even notice you were gone. What does that say about us as a team? As friends?
Okay, that part's fucked up. Because I didn't know that. Oh, that's rough.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Nope, it'll be okay. I have a therapist I can talk to.
I shouldn't have. I'm sorry, Cleo.
Ian, I wasn't there. Like, it was gonna happen regardless of if I was there or not, and you guys had to do what you had to do. Chaos included. Honestly, I kind of think that we're lucky that more of the city wasn't harmed. You might not have, like, overcome and won the day, but still grateful that you guys are here. When I came to, I didn't know that any of you would.
I'm really glad that you weren't. And I know that probably sounds strange. But I wouldn't wish what I saw on anybody else.
Doesn't sound strange. Sounds a little bit kind.
But I'm trying really hard to believe that Essie would just be glad that we're okay. And
Oh, for sure.
we are, I mean, short of kidnapping Grayson, we're doing what we can for him.
I mean, we could still kidnap Grayson. Still is something that we might be capable of doing. But part of me, like, we don't know what Grayson's capable of, or what his powers really are, and neither does. That's why they're keeping him locked up and contained and trying to experiment on him. It's kind of weird because I've been thinking about, like, what if his power isn't only to atomize? What if that's just like the start of it? What if he's also able to re-atomize? What if it's not atomization that happens at all? What if it's just this goes somewhere else at replacement? I want to know Grayson and, like, hang out with them and let them try to figure out what their power actually is versus having it dictated to them that they are only a weapon.
I think that too. I know just from being what little time I got to see him, from what I can tell so far, it works based off of his fear. And the longer he sits down there without somebody he trusts, the more afraid he's getting. So it's a good thing that Victory is letting us see him. Otherwise, I really might have just followed through on that idea myself and kidnapped him.
I mean, how close do we think Victory's assistant can get to Grayson? Like, physically speaking, badge-wise, if someone were to have their executive assistant's badge, how far do you think we could utilize it within Nova HQ?
From what I can tell, they don't leave our side.
They could be using Victory's badge to get in there. But if we were to use their badge, we might have a shot. Or at least have different ways out than we previously did. If we were to go in under perfectly normal conditions in very respectable, responsible ways that we said we were doing, and then made different decisions in our departure, wonder how they're keeping him trapped down there. A kid who could possibly atomize everything and blow up the whole world. Don't you think he would have done that by now? If that was his ability. I would. If I get cut in front of in the lunch line, I'm like an irresponsible super to be around. You trap me underneath the ground? I have the power to atomize the world? Why the fuck wouldn't I be doing that? Anyways, you already know this. You already know this. I'm just venting to vent. What if we... When is our meeting with Grayson?
We didn't
In about 2
establish
days.
one. Okay.
About 2 days. Right.
Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna retcon that because technically you guys didn't establish one. I'm gonna say that it's up to you guys. So you guys can go to Victory and say like, "Hey, we want to see Grayson now." So it's up to you guys. We want to do that.
Okay, so we didn't really establish one, so I was kind of planning on buying some assessment books and going to see and getting you guys so we could go see him. But
Right. I wonder how much Fives is aware of the floor plan for all those training rooms and stuff down below. If they might know of another way out, or if there's only one way out.
Could I interrupt you guys here briefly, if you don't mind?
as we
roll your
thought.
phone. I assume as your heroes, you would have some sort of like, some app for news alerts or important incidents alerts, something like that, so you can know if bad things are happening.
Yes. Tell
Both
us.
your phones go off at the same time.
Uh-oh.
God damn.
The wording is up to you guys, but it sounds like there's something rampaging its way through South City. Something big. On its way to West City fast.
How fast do we think a scooter can take us?
Be fast enough.
You two better get moving real fast.
Here we go!
But as you two depart, Cleo, you move towards your scooter, but Mel, you hang back for a brief second, and I want to know, do Cleo's words get through to you? What do you think? Yes, no? Maybe so?
I'm gonna say yes.
Then you may either mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels.
I'm gonna mark a potential.
You take a moment, you settle in your friend's comfort, feel the brief warmth they give you, and follow behind her as you two make on your way to do a bit of heroing on her scooter. A panel slides and checks in. Meanwhile, it says 30 minutes earlier, skies over South City. As we follow another figure who is ambiently patrolling about and keeping their eyes on. The world looks so beautiful from up here. So distant and different. All lights and shine and not people. All feeling and little conversation. Such an amazingly different world. Looking even more different from so far away. Aurelia, you've been in this realm for a little bit of time. You've experienced things, met people, and now suddenly find yourself thrown into something that not only involves this realm, but also your home realm, and also so many other realms beyond you literally just learned exist. Where are you right now? Mentally, I mean. What's going through your mind? And as you float about, flying through the clouds of New Jump City, looking for that strange energy you felt, what are you doing as you think about these things?
I would say that Aurelia is not in a very secure place, and you could almost see that when she's flying. Like she's trying to be translucent so nobody would see her, but you do get sparks of energy because of her lack of mental clarity. She almost doesn't have the same ability of her form that she typically has. I think she's overwhelmed by the amount of information she received at one time, the essential crumbling of everything that she was brought up to believe in and was absolute. She doesn't necessarily know what direction to go in, what necessarily to do next, nor what to believe. But I think she does realize that even in this time where she doesn't necessarily feel close enough to really confide in the people that she has been spending majority of her time with, she is comforted by the idea of them.
Interesting. I like that. I think in this moment, as you're reckoning with everything you've been placed around, the wind whipping through your hair, the air of Jump City deeply around you. That's the wrong one to sound. I'd like you to roll me to take a powerful blow, just to represent the way in which you feel affected by this new and strange situation you found yourself in. So go ahead and roll me 2d6 plus any conditions you have.
I ain't got no conditions, bro.
And it's just 2d6.
Is it rules to take a power? Is it here? Or do I just have to roll 2d6?
You can just roll 2d6 if you need to, it's fine.
Alright.
A 7 is an interesting one to get here.
Oh.
So I'm going to give you some options here. I'm going to try to interpret them properly, given that you're not actively fighting someone.
Okay.
So option 1 is you lash out verbally, provoking a teammate. And I don't think that's necessarily what you're doing, what you would do right now, given that you're alone to yourself. But I think it might be more of an example of like, I think what would happen here is you would take I'll give you these options. You can either mark a condition for me if you would like, and I'll let you decide what condition it is. Or you can kind of decide that because you are focusing in right now and like thinking through things, your sense of magic around you is a little bit weird.
I'm gonna say insecure as a condition.
I love insecure.
I feel like she's very much insecure. She lacks clarity. Well, I feel like the one thing that Aurelia has given y'all, besides being a bitch, is almost a sense of like confidence. You know, she is aware that she is a powerful being. She's told from her existence in this stage of her life that she is not made like the rest of them. Even being in a place where she can observe like how others spend their time, like mortals, which she didn't choose to do because she didn't care. She's just always been told like we are not like the rest of them. Even in some religions and cults, they worship her, people and her and where she comes from. But with this new information that we received in the last session, like Vol has poked too many holes through this confidence that she used to have. And while having this eye-opening experience, almost, it shook her to her core, into everything that she believed in, which was also herself.
I imagine that feels isolating. You know? You're in a realm you don't really understand anything about and are actively learning through the people all around you. The city you see sprawled out below you, the lights, the people, it's all so different. And you thought you had at least ground you were familiar with, a home you could return to, where you understood and went about your existence in a comfortable knowledge of what was and wasn't all around you. And now you don't even have that. The world, the universe is so much bigger than you ever thought. And in that moment of not really having anything to feel secure in, I imagine it feels isolating. And I think you find yourself thinking through that just when you do get a sudden feeling. It's very faint. It's not so much of presence as it is a loose current, an almost like drifting smell on the wind, as far as your energy sense, that feels at least lingeringly somewhat similar to that energy you felt leaving the book. It's not the exact same, but the undertones, the bass notes are similar in your sense of energy. It's moving almost kind of northwest, and given the current you're feeling, it's definitely not in New Jump City. It's far out into the countryside, away from the city limits. But it's there. Bless you.
Thank you. But that last one hurt. Shit.
Oh, sorry. It sucks. I hate those.
Like I'm scraping my insides. Sorry, that's weird to say. Anyways, so how far are we talking? Would it really have like a good sense of like distance?
Why don't you give me a roll to assess the situation? I can answer some questions to you. And give me a 2d6 roll plus superior.
Ooh, guess who's superior?
A hit!
Yay!
On a 7 and 9, you get to ask one question from this list. What here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? Or how could we best end this quickly?
I propose, alternatively, asking where the fuck this energy coming from, how far it is.
At your maximum flight speed, probably about a full day's trip. There and back.
God.
So, if you really want to go get to the source of this, whatever you're feeling out there, it's going to be a thing you're probably going to want to gather the people up and say, hey, let's go do this sometime soon whenever we can find time. But it's faint. You have a strong enough sense of it that you're certain that if you got your friends and headed in the right direction, while you might slightly lose the trail for now, if you headed in that direction and got closer, you could definitely pick it up again and pinpoint where it is.
Okay. Noted. Could I also add another thing to what I'm kind of tracking right now?
Sure.
I want to say I'm trying to... Well, Aurelia is also very steadily... You good, bruv?
I dropped my phone. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Very steadily looking for Cass's energy.
I love that.
She's like in the background, kind of always.
I'm gonna need one more roll. Give me unleash your powers. Roll plus freak for me. Because you are pushing. Actually, it's funny. Literally, one of the options for unleash your powers is rolling to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, or extend your senses. What you got for me? A full hit! How do I do this?
Nobody is gonna match her freak.
It's true. It's impossible.
I'm just trying to take after you.
Aurelia, you take a moment. You stop flying. You bring yourself to a full stop, and you just lightly hover in the air for a bit. You close your eyes, and you push out your senses as hard as you can. You feel every living soul in New Jump City for a moment, every breathing thing, every energy source possible, every altered energy all around New Jump City. It is overwhelming at first. Tune, you refocus, you breathe deeper, you push again, you feel out wider and wider and wider and wider and wider. You push your perceptions out past the very skein of reality into any realm you can touch, anything you can feel, any distant something, just looking for something that feels like, reminds you of Cass. Just briefly. You get 2 things. Actually, you get 3 things. I'm going to tell you 3 things. The first is the one you're going to hate to hear the most.
Oh.
You don't feel Cass anywhere. If she exists, if Cleo's theory is anywhere near possible, either she is so far distant, even your sense of energy right now, pushing as hard as you can't feel her, or B, if she's around, something's shifted her energy, changed it, dispersed it, or dismissed it, so much that whatever she is now, she is not something you can sense. Or, third option, she's really just gone. That's the first thing. Second thing, that brief instant, that flicker of feeling beyond the skein of this realm, you feel several folding presences layer themselves over your senses, one after the other at hyper speed. And again, it feels almost disorienting. You really need to focus them in as you feel them. But you would swear you feel at least the realm you're in, this realm, the overture. Briefly, briefly, 5 other distinct presences you've never felt before. One that kind of stinks the same way Vol does. Sorry, 4 other presences like that. And then at the end, the last presence, the 6th presence, very briefly, you feel the faintest flicker of home. Which not only tells you, yes, your home is still there, and you feel its energy for the first time flood your brain in the most blissfully serene way for just a moment, in a way you have not felt in so long. I imagine only further in that isolation. But what that tells you, the second piece of information I'm giving you, Vol wasn't lying. There are at least 6 realms that exist in this cosmos. He probably wasn't lying about the 7th idea either. And the third thing, the thing that really fucks with you, is as you feel yourself push into every other realm for a brief moment, feeling briefly unimaginably more powerful than you may have ever felt before as you push your energy limits so far beyond, something presses back. It is not a wall. It is not a force. It is an overwhelming idea. It is the concept of a singular word pushed into your, 2 singular words pushed into your brain so strong that you hear them in the present, the past, the future. 2 words like they come from God. Not yet. And something smashes your senses back into this reality forcefully. It is not hurt, but that momentary shunt of energy is so overwhelming that you don't notice until you open your eyes that you are plummeting through the air.
Oh God.
You can right yourself with no problem, easily, able to perfectly align yourself back in the air and catch yourself before you smacked into a building or something. But that third thing, that presence, it'll sit with you. Unfortunately, it's not something that you can focus on for too long, Aurelia. As closer to the ground now, looking over the wall of concrete and iron that is the jungle of New Jump City's South City District, you see a column of smoke rising in the distance. And you would swear, given that you're right next to a building, that if you put your hand out, the building is shaking a bit in a rhythmic pattern. Thump. 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 Thump.
Okay. Damn, bro. That was. Damn. Damn.
And before I let you all respond to that, we're going to take ourselves just a little and just a tiny break for our friends to recuperate, refuel, and defuel. Don't touch that dial. Don't flip that panel or close that issue. We will be right back with more high-intensity comic action in just a moment. And we return back on the rooftops of West New Jump City, approximately 10 to 15 minutes before the current moment we're actually at in the present. Sat once again with two Nova members and two members of the Jade Cycle experiment as well, discussing the future and reminiscing on the past. Fives, we center back in on you and Sable, still on the rooftops, sat and discussing things. You've stopped traveling and are now just like sat on this rooftop discussing things. And what are you discussing? What is the combo turn to? What's on your brain now?
I think as Fives pulls out from that memory, there are two questions that come to mind. One, which is, was that what happened to Sable too? That there were things that happened where they don't remember what happened after, and then they just woke up and had to keep moving?
Sable kind of perks ahead at you and just, I mean, I had some pretty rough training and a lot of weird experiments, sitting in microwave rooms to see how best my photoreflective skin applied things. Tested my strength, my speed, my reflexes, my senses. God, some of the smells and sounds they made me deal with. I still get headaches. So, I don't know, it was rough for me too, yeah. It was rough for all of us. But that's what Nova does. It pushes us, it sharpens us, it makes us the best version of ourselves.
Yeah. There are things that I don't remember.
That's weird. I mean, I caught you in your med bay a couple times from your tests. You used to get pretty banged up. So, maybe you got knocked a little too hard once or twice?
I guess that makes sense. Got my skull rattled around a little too hard, maybe.
You tapped your forehead some? Yeah. I mean, not much in it to begin with, so can't say I blame you for that.
Maybe threw myself too hard at a wall or something.
Honestly, if you threw yourself pretty hard at a wall, I feel bad for the wall.
Well, you know. That's why
Something's
nobody
eating you,
punches
though.
us, right?
Yeah.
Well, but what were you thinking about?
I don't know. I'm just thinking a little bit about what you said. And Five, why don't you give me another roll to pierce the mask here? Roll plus mundane for me.
Alrighty. A 9!
A 9! A hit! So let's see. On Pierce the Mask, you can ask one question from this list. What are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How can I get your character to blank? How can I gain influence over you?
I want to... how can I gain influence over Sable, actually?
Good question.
I want to know.
Sable, maybe even more than you, Five, is a consummate soldier. They've always been job focused. You know, they have
Right.
their fun, they laugh, but they've always been about their shit. But Sable is also a very free thinking person. They have always been the kind of person that will like say what they're thinking, speak their mind, and go with their own, go with their own gut. If you want to gain influence over Sable, you got to convince them that you are a similarly free-thinking person. Like, kind of like earlier when Sable mentioned that most people just think that he's like a Nova drone and just like whatever he says, Nova says. That to him is him showing like, okay, people who can't think outside of that box aren't people I want to talk to. They aren't important to me. So to get Sable's influence, prove you're like you have your own thought process and you're a free thinker and you have your own forward thought as well. You aren't just like following what you're told all the time, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think I guess what he says is like, I guess I don't blame your friends for feeling weird about Nova. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I won't even say it's mine every day, but it's the job that I'm chosen for. It's the job we were made for.
Yeah, maybe less chosen, more crafted.
It's a difference. It's a job to do, and we gotta do it. It keeps people safe, keeps the world in order, and keeps things from. And he kind of like flinches a little bit again. Keep things like the docks from happening. But I
guess.
Yeah. No, go ahead, please.
No, you go ahead.
But I don't know. I can't remember much about talking to the doctor, but I remember one time before he disappeared, he asked me what I thought I was gonna be. Not what I wanted to be, but what I thought I was going to be. And I think it's weird that one matters and not the other, I guess. Sometimes and this is a bit of a moment of honesty here, I think he says. Sometimes I envy people like your friends. Heroes who ain't stuck to Nova and can do their own thing whenever they want. Have normal lives. I guess it's gonna change for all of us when the draft happens, but I don't know.
Calling it now? A little less veil?
It's what we're calling it. Not when Victory's around, obviously.
The more time that I spend with them, the more I think I'm finding ways to read between the lines. Should try it sometime.
You are saying this? Oh, it's a weird day. Okay.
All the more reason you should try it.
And yeah, Fives, why don't you go ahead and take influence over Sable?
Shit! I think it was gonna happen today.
I'm just gonna let you hold on to that for a little bit. I think it'll be fun to see what you do with it.
But
I am, however, also gonna interrupt your scene, your scene here if I can.
Yeah.
As both of your wrist trackers go off. It's a mission. It's a dispatcher from Nova. You can tell because it's on the dispatch line. Sable taps one of his wrists. 2-5. Situation in South City, heading towards west your way. A large one, it seems like. Looks up. Go ahead, Fives.
We'll meet him fist for fist.
Hey, it can't be anything bigger than the lug here, right?
I'm gonna
Noted.
jokingly headbutt Sable as he says that.
It just, oh, geez, that hurts, he says, obviously putting way more effort into it than it actually hurt. Dispatcher, you actually hear the dispatcher chuckle a little bit and just, understood. Signing you to the task force. We're going to move any local heroes on the scene and assist them in a situation. Civilians are a priority.
Understood.
2 out. And you let's go. Race, you there?
You bet. And Fives will jump as they respond, trying to get as much of a leg up as possible.
Fives, you leap up, transform, and take off back with a sonic boom of flight. Sable leaps off of the roof and lets off a jet line to follow after them. And you are all on your way towards the scene. Before we check back in with our friends who are dealing with more important things, though, a brief scene somewhere else in the city. A bit far away from all of this noise that might be happening. Distantly off in the city, atop a high roof, a figure leaps on large, powerful plumes of, well, explosive air before finally skidding to a landing on a darkened roof, obscured from the sun's light. All right, come on, show your ass. I know you're here. Jet stomps around for a bit. Stop wasting my damn time, Vol, and show your fucking ugly face. A figure slides out from the shadows of the corner of the wall. That temper is going to get you in trouble, Mr. Rollins. You should know that. All right, cut the bullshit. I don't have time for it. All right. If expedience is the matter, why don't you cut right to whatever it is you seem to call me for? I'm a busy man, after all. Not busy, not a man. Don't want to hear it. Nova's got my nephew. Indeed they do. The same one you promised that if I helped you and did whatever the fuck you said, nothing would happen to? That is true. Though I believe the wording was, Nova wouldn't be able to exploit him. And trust me, they cannot yet. They have no idea what he's capable of. Then again, neither do you, so you have that in common. If you want your face kicked, you're working right towards it. You're welcome to try. I'd find it funny. Enough already! Nova has Grayson, and I'm getting him back. No matter what. So I figured. Cypress League isn't going to be enough. Most of us are already pinned down in there, and even if I free them, it's still an uphill fight. There's more heroes per square inch there than there is anywhere else in the city. It's not going to be an easy fight. You aren't asking me to help, are you? Fighting isn't really my thing, you know. I don't need your help. You're a sleazeball, I get that. What I need is more firepower. I need to be stronger. And I know you can do it. You've been doing your homework. Anima showed me a book. I did some reading and mentioned of it. There are writings about whatever the hell you are. The Red Devil. The Deal Maker. You can offer me power, can't you? This will cost you. You know that, yes? It's about my nephew. You know that, yes? Not here. This evening. By the docks. A bit far from where visibility is. You'll know the place. And I recommend you use the time you have to decide if you really want this. If you don't show, no hard feelings. Whatever. I'll be there. Till then, ta-ta. Jet looks up and just... Look, whatever thing you need to get done, if it involves me getting my F out Nova, tell me now. And looks back down, and Vol is gone. Fucking typical. He leaps from the roof and takes off to go somewhere else. Just as he gets up in from lookout, a notification on his phone. Monster rampaging through South City. See about that later, I guess. And takes off in a jump. And we cut away one more time, resuming ourselves back to the present. Though the scene is much, much less, well, normal. Aurelia, you are zipping low and weaving left and right through buildings as you close in on the streets and make your way down towards what's happening here. The rumbling slowly getting louder and evidence of something having rampaged all around this area of the city and clearly still moving. And you are approaching, moving in its wake almost. Looking backward, you can see a trail of destruction that you are moving through. People running and scattering, ambulances, sirens. It is a chaotic mess. And as you are whipping and zooming your way through, you slowly see a familiar-looking scooter with two people riding atop of it, making their way through the chaos.
We don't have flying powers. Look at us go.
How do you
We're
approach?
doing our damnedest.
If it's faster than us running, then you know what? It's gotta work.
Cleo's ringing the bell as much as she can on it and screaming to everyone to get the fuck out of her way. Full road rage. That's not contained inside a vehicle, so everyone's experiencing it. She's flipping people off, she's cutting people off, she's kicking cars as she's going past them.
You look up, Cleo, and you see a swooping in Aurelia approaching the two of you. Sees
Oh, thank God.
Do you need
She answered her phone.
I.
I don't think she did.
Oh.
Is on
Oh, she's here.
important. Do you all need assistance?
Would love
Can
it.
you go faster than this scooter? Can you carry us faster than this scooter?
DM, I can, right? GM, sorry.
Can you? Yeah, I'd say sure. Why not? For the sake of the narrative, let's have it. Why not?
How about this? Since I can control like the density of shit, can I make the scooter just float and go faster?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to keep your hand on
Wow.
it, obviously, to keep it controlled. But yeah, sure,
So
why not?
I would say the scooter, I'm holding the scooter by one of the handlebars and flying above the crowd with Cleo and Mel. And I'm gonna turn towards them very coolly, like cool as fuck, because I'm so cool.
Yeah.
Coolest.
And just be like, you might want to hold on tight for this.
Okay.
All right. So I guess yeah, the three of you are certainly in the air. Any other combos shared or things as you're making your way approaching the scene?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, Mel's kind of like gauging and taking note of like what's going on, emergency services, where civilians are, and what damage has been caused so far, and where is this giant fucking monster we're supposed to be dealing with? Please.
Oh, that's funny you mentioned that.
Please.
So, a couple of things that are definitely notable, pretty I'd say pretty important that you would certainly be aware of is one, as you are looking in the wake of this thing, because this is New Jump City where horrible world bending things happen all the fucking time. Emergency services are on it. They are already helicopters flying in, medevac vehicles coming and making their way in, police and fire on site, emergency rescue. They've got triage areas set up. In the wake, y'all are good. You wager wherever this thing actually is, maybe less so. And it's as you think like, okay, where is this thing? You realize just how loud the stomping's gone. And it's as you're watching this thing, feeling the ground rumble and quake and shake, you see a building, actually, you're all flying next to a building that just comes undone. Something swipes this building, the top of it explodes in a shower of steam and smoke and concrete and glass and debris. And as the dust begins to waver all around you, you hear something roar out into the distance. And then its head flies or lifts itself right past the scooter and Aurelia flying by. It is bipedal and massive, standing atop even the skyscrapers that are around it. A huge, giant beast of flesh and armored plating, a long, slender tail whipping with spines in every direction, kicking up cars and smashing buildings to huge, three-toed feet, crushing cars and smashing through street signs as people scatter and run in its wake. Its body, its chest, glowing with this strange, almost ethereal energy that glows from its chest through lines on its arms, up its neck, and into its mouth and eyes. This, my dearests, is the Tide Beast. And people
The
here
Tide
are
Beast.
panicking. Yes. And people here are panicking. Civilians are scattering, debris is falling, it looks bad, and you all need to act. What, Sirens, do you do?
Assess the situation, I think that's what I do.
I love how that
Yes.
sounds. Why don't you
Death
go ahead and give me
assess.
that roll?
Okay, superiority. Do it. Yes.
Am I here at this point?
Not yet, Fives. We're getting there.
Dang it! Oh, okay.
Somebody was bonding for too long.
I can't before we get started because I'm not here.
Yeah, sorry, friend. This is the
Son
one
of a
time where you're gonna
gun.
show up to this fight a little bit late. So,
That's okay.
with an 8, that leaves you at an. I think you get to ask one question from the list. You get to go. What here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? How could we best end this quickly?
The last one.
Well,
By end this, I mean the beast.
okay. So, looking at the way that everything is scattering around Aurelia, you kind of focus in, looking around and seeing this beast, the way it's gathering energy. And every time, as this beast is stomping around, smashing buildings aside, having you kind of fly to avoid it, you see that as you fly by its massive chest, as it's breathing in and out, you can see that energy in its chest pulsating. It's fueled by a living nuclear reaction. If you're able to either cut that or diminish it enough, or, I don't know how much you know about nuclear physics, you might have to ask somebody, but it's powered by an energy reaction. If you can make it burn out of energy, it would fall asleep or have to retreat.
Okay. I think Aurelia is gonna share this with Cleo and Mel.
Tell me how you do it.
How I share it?
Yeah, what do you say? Get in the character here.
Oh, fuck. While she's holding on to their scooter.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna turn towards them. I'm sorry, the scooter fucking kills me. The beast runs on energy. The best way to probably stop it is to take away that energy or expend it so hard that it has none left. I think while I can think of a way to do that, we have to be aware of the civilians around us and do our best to protect those we can.
Responses?
Alright, and then
How low are we to the ground at this point?
You're
You guys
swooping low, so... Sorry, go ahead, please.
oh, I was gonna say for me, you guys are close enough that we are we're like a couple feet above the people, but like in a way that like we're going like down the street and everybody's like running the opposite direction we're going. But like nobody can, if they try to reach us, they can't touch us, essentially.
Yeah.
We're just like kind of, you get me?
Works for me.
I think Aurelia is also gonna turn to them and say, has anybody used their mobile device to reach out to 5?
I'm gonna guess that they got the same notification we did.
If Noah hasn't gotten wind of this yet, then they're blind.
Oh, what perfect. Wait, that's perfect. Hold right there. Mel, the camera is on you when you're saying, if Nova hasn't gotten wind in this, there's a panel shift to you on the scooter behind Cleo talking to Aurelia with the words, they're blind, and a giant kaiju paw imposing itself in the background as you all suddenly need to move.
I love that.
Now.
I
It
love
is
that for us.
swiping straight at you all.
Love it for us.
What do you do?
Love it.
I would like to unleash my powers, because I would like to shield my friends and I from this, and shield is one of the thingies I took on my sheet.
Cleo, this is a big moment for you because I imagine S.H.I.E.L.D. is not going to be using your telepathy. That could be using a different power of yours.
It is.
Please roll plus
I need
3.
to turn the Sirens game down.
Sorry.
Sorry, I had to go ham for a second there.
I love it. Please roll plus freak.
Okay. Oh my god. This is good. Best freak.
Get freaky.
Damn, son.
Oh, the fucking 12, the full hit. tell me what happens as this giant kaiju paw is swiping down at you and your friends.
I think it happens because Cleo flinches, not because she's doing it with a bunch of intention behind it, but she's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And because of that, like, her emotions towards her friends, like, she wants to keep them safe as much as she wants to keep herself safe now. And I think that makes her a little bit reckless in that regard, because she really wants to make sure that her friends are safe more so than she wants to hide the fact that she has this ability from everyone around.
Absolutely. So,
because have you guys seen a kaiju foot before?
Yeah,
I'm not looking to die.
Coming down at you, almost like it's not even like fully like at full speed. You flinch, Cleo, and suddenly, it's like this thing hits a giant bauble you can't see. Just deflects back, so much so that the kaiju actually recoils back somewhat, and that arm smashes into the side of the building. It just plowed through. Aurelia, Mel, especially you, Mel, as you've been around Cleo for a bit of a longer time, you have never seen her do anything like that.
Notes in there. Nope. Oh, damn it, I wasted another 12, though.
Oh, no!
I was trying to put the notes in there for shielding. I'll pull it up and put it in chat.
Yeah, you got it. So yeah, immediate responses to what you guys just saw.
Could
was
you describe
awesome.
it again for me for a second?
There was a giant kaiju paw suddenly closing in on all of you, and it's almost like it just hit an invisible like bubble about 3 feet from where it would have smacked into you guys. It
Winston.
hits that and bounces backwards, and like the arm slams back into the wall.
Okay, copy. I'm sorry. My brain was like... Yeah, anyway. I think Aurelia would turn to Cleo, and in her very rare instances of validation for others, she would tell her, good job.
Cool, okay, cool. You guys saw that too.
Yeah,
Think anyone else saw it?
probably.
Fuck.
Well, can't linger on that now, friends. That kaiju just smacked into a building. There's more debris falling, civilians scattering, and panic is growing. What do you do?
Aurelia will spread her energy to be as flat as possible, almost like a sheet that just goes over the civilians. Like her glowing gold shit, so like a blanket essentially catching all the weight.
Perfect. As Aurelia's doing that, Mel, what are you doing?
Mel's gonna drop down and start directing civilians to a safe route.
Perfect. So how about this? Aurelia, do you want to pull one from the team pool to give Mel a +1 on this roll to defend someone?
Yes.
Do it.
I don't know who wrote that. Who wrote that? Was that Emily?
I
Emily-
did. I'll fix it.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Mel, please roll
fun.
plus savior.
Seven.
It's actually an 8. So on a 7 and 9,
Oh,
it costs you. Choose one. Expose yourself to danger or escalate situation. So yeah. So you can either expose yourself to danger or you can make the situation worse. Your call.
Expose myself to danger.
Perfect. I want you to roll. Take a powerful blow.
Okay. That's
2d6
2d6 plus conditions.
Yep.
14.
Kapow! So one, you can also clear a condition, because that's a big thing here. So first off, clear a condition you had already because you can clear one as part of the people you protect. Mel, you jump down and you yell out to people, what are you doing? What are you doing? How do you try to direct people away? What happens?
So I'm trying to think of like, give me an idea of what the layout looks like. What's this street?
The street, it's an open, wide, 2-lane street with, buildings on either side. People are flooding the street, panicking to get away from this creature in any direction. There is debris coming down from the buildings. There's dust everywhere. You got power lines falling. It's all bad.
All bad. So she's going to do her best to assess a safe route, probably keeping out of the middle of like the alleys between the buildings, probably down towards like the middle of the center road. And start directing people like towards that lane, heading them back towards where emergency services have established a perimeter in the wake of the beast.
Absolutely.
Of the Titan.
You leap down, and as you leap hit the ground, you can hear people, "Hey, it's Medusa! It's Medusa! Hey, the Sirens are here, guys!" And as you start yelling, like, "Keep moving, let's get people on the street," people start following you. People get a bit more calm following. They're still running, but they're running in the direction you tell them. The kaiju gets back up and takes a step. Its foot starts coming down on that pane of glass, like that pane of energy Aurelia put up in front of the people. Aurelia, could you do me a favor?
Yes.
I think this is a good roll. Could you roll to defend someone or something? And I don't just mean the people here.
I don't wanna.
Please? For me?
Okay. You said defend?
Yes, you're gonna roll plus savior.
Okay, so here's the problem.
Uh-huh.
I'm insecure.
So you're gonna take a -2. Mel, would you like to take one for the team pool to add a +1 to this?
Sure.
Oh, I don't know if
Ooh.
it matters. Yeah, no. it's
4
okay.
makes
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It does not matter.
Yeah, but it's
All
not
right,
our
then.
team pool.
So, Aurelia, you put this massive pane of energy up in front of people, not just in front of people, but also above Mel, keeping all of them safe. The kaiju steps on it, and you watch it shatter into a billion pieces. And if you will, because I want to play this out properly, I think the only thing that keeps Mel from getting seriously hurt or killed by this is that in the moment of panic when you see your thing shatter, you yell her name.
Can I yell and also like unleash my powers?
I'm gonna say no for this instance because it's happening a bit too fast, but I'm gonna come back to you on that.
Okay, yeah, I can yell. Oh shit!
So-
if I can't say yell, I can't say Mel.
Well, that's the question. Do you yell Mel or do you yell
Yeah.
Medusa?
It's up to you. I think it's up to you. What do you want? What happens here?
I think
That's
Aurelia
it's
never
important.
calls you Medusa.
Okay.
So if you will for me, I think you go all the way and you say Milena. And
Do I have to
Mel,
say that?
you hear your name, you shoot your head up, and are literally able to just push a civilian and throw yourself to the side as hard as you can before that foot hits the ground. The impact still throws you a good few feet. You hit a wall with your back hard. Your vision goes white for a moment. It is painful. And I'm gonna say, if you will, Mark, what conditions do you have right now?
The only one I have, I think, is guilty.
And your other options are angry, afraid, insecure, and what's the last one?
Hopeless.
Take either afraid or hopeless.
I'm gonna say hopeless.
As you hit the wall, you crumple. The person you grabbed is safe. They're okay. They're still able to get out of there. But you're looking up, seeing your two friends stare down a 60-plus foot kaiju, and you're suddenly thinking, holy fuck, is there anything I can do here? And it's as you're looking up and wondering at this thing that two new figures make their presence known in this fight. Number 5, why don't you tell me what you do to drop in on this fucking Godzilla wannabe?
No, I was wondering if I could possibly use my more than a shield move and go straight for the big bad.
Yeah, I love that. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what more than a shield does?
Yeah, so when you directly engage a threat by heading directly into danger without regard for your own safety, roll with Savior instead of danger. On a miss, your focused attack leaves someone in grave danger. The GM will tell you what it takes to keep them safe.
Go for it.
So I think, as Fives and Sable come swinging
It's a song,
onto
Ollie.
the scene,
Sorry, go ahead, please.
I think we'll see Fives in flight launch themselves towards the face of the Tide Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping to get its attention and I don't know, maybe like poke an eye or something?
Please roll to directly engage a threat.
Sounds good. Bep.
A 9 is a hit!
That's a 9!
Pick one from the list. You can resist or avoid their blows. Take something from them. Make an opportunity for your allies. Impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition. I get to pick which one of the three if you pick that one.
I will impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition, since I'm trying to distract this guy.
Mel, you look up, and almost on cue, you see something supersonic smack this thing's head so hard, it cranes left. And as you see it crane left, you see a line tether come out, attach itself onto the chitin under its chin, swing around, flip, and land right next to you. It's Sable.
I think Mel has met Sable.
Nope.
So
Turns over and gives a howdy, number 2, Sable.
I think I've met Sable.
Oh. Mel has heard mention of the Jade Cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Sibling. Got it.
You're astute. And as that happens, Cleo, you're able to finally make your way, down and bring your scooter down to ground level. Aurelia, you can also fly down to the side. We get a perfect comic book moment of Aurelia swooping down on flight, of Fives landing down next to the group, and Cleo hopping off of her floating scooter landing next to you. And suddenly, we've got a team assembled. Friends, it sounds like it's time to directly engage in battle as a team.
Yeah.
Here's my question, friends. Who's your leader this time?
Are we voting?
Oh
Make a
no.
call. Make a call. Make it fast.
Number 5, because they just went and kicked that guy in the face.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dragon versus dragon!
right.
Kaiju battle!
And I think 5 has influence out over all of us, so we add 1 to the team pool, if I remember correctly.
That is how that works. If it's true.
True.
5. Add 1 to the
We
team
have a
pool,
list.
please.
We have a list
So
of
first
questions, don't we?
Actually, first off, the team pool goes from 1 to 3. Because when you're in a team, you add 2. Then, because you all are the leader of everybody, it goes up 1 more to 4. Next, do you all have the same purpose in this fight? I assume so. It's kick this damn thing's ass and keep people safe.
Yes.
5. Does anybody mistrust 5?
No.
Anybody feel ill-prepared or off-balance? I guess at the team it's ill-prepared or off-balance.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait, bro, you can't just come at me like that.
Well then, in that case, I'm going to drop you guys down back to 4. But still, going from team pool 1 to 4 in a single moment is pretty fucking impressive. So with a
Yeah.
team pool of 4, you're all gathered. 5, this thing, the Tide Beast, lumbers back in from your punch, stares directly down at you, and gives a low, rumbling growl that even though you don't speak Kaiju, you're certain sounds like, come the fuck at me. It's game time, friends. Civilians need saving, Kaijus need fighting, and the music needs switching. So why don't you tell me, friends, what it looks like when you all leap into action?
Yo, play that one Brazilian song. Sorry.
Please! I think, as the leader in this moment, Fives will take charge and say, I'm gonna keep this thing busy. You guys do what it takes to bring it down and keep people safe. I'll keep it distracted as long as I can.
I think before Fives goes into whatever the fuck they about to get into, Aurelia will also mention the previous knowledge that she bestowed upon Cleo and Mel
About the energy.
about the energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
all while you figure out that science shit, because I don't know what that is, but what I do know is fists meet face.
All right, 5. Sounds like you're gonna. So okay, so you're saying okay, 5. You're gonna take this thing directly on, and the rest of you are gonna try to buy time for civilians. Sable looks around and just says, "I left you in charge, but I'll admit I'm outsized class here, so I'll get civilians. Let's do it." And he'll leap up, let off the jet line on his sort of like ODM gear, and take off, leaping back into the fray.
The Attack on Titan.
I was waiting for the reference. I literally gave ODM gear basically.
Like, for real. I don't know why it took me so long to put that together. Anyway.
First thing it was introduced, I was like, "Yep, that's Attack on Titan," but I'm not saying it. I will not say it.
Fuck.
I will not
No.
oust Foxy like that.
I appreciate it.
I'm like, anybody who knows, they already know. Here, weeb. Anyway, sorry. I think Aurelia would actually join Fives, not so much in the fighting, but in a way, like, kind of in the fighting of the giant beast, but also, like, brainstorming a way to take the beast down. So, GM, my lovely GM,
Talk to me sexy, what you need?
you know how it's energy based, right?
Uh-huh.
And you know how Aurelia could kind of manipulate energy and interact with it at her own will. Can, at one point in time, I'm guessing after this kaiju takes some heavy ass blows from my homie and leader, 5. Do you think Aurelia could try to unleash her powers to try to, like, null this fucking beast the fuck out?
You could definitely use your energy manipulation powers to help with it. You need to get a good sense of what its energy is so you can properly attune yourself to it to manipulate it. So you need some time, definitely. But with some time, absolutely. Let's do it this way. If anybody is trying to either A, fight this monster. Okay, if you're trying to fight this monster, I need you to roll directly engage a threat. If you're trying to figure out how to stop this thing, roll set situation. If you're trying to help civilians right now, roll defend someone. Make your choices. We're gonna roll and decide what order to handle them in. I love this track. It's from With the Will. I stole it from it's one of my favorites. A plus an 8 on danger from Zachi.
If I'm spending a burn,
Talk to
what
me.
would that be? What I would like to do is utilize my delinquent move of Are You Watching Closely? And I want to kind of fuck with the brain of our kaiju and try to, in a way, like, distract it or, like, convince it to go somewhere else, or, like, the ground shifts slightly or something like that in their mind. Doesn't in real life, but it, like, fucks with them in a mental way to be, like, less likely to run over people. So I'm trying to protect people, but in the way that Cleo is able to.
Okay.
Because, I mean, she's not really a great guide, or...
Well, then, do you
She
think
rode a
this is feeling-
scooter.
Yeah. Do you think this is feeling more like you want to defend someone here? I think this might be some more of defend someone. I'm not sure how your move works. Let me know.
I'm trying to confuse the kaiju.
Okay. Sure. Do you want to read me that move you're trying to use? Just so I know how it works?
Yeah. Scroll back up to the delinquent.
Take your time figuring it out. What's up, baby?
Put your ears on.
Oh, god damn it. Alright, I'm putting the fuck... Alright, they're on, okay? We all happy now?
And I would be happier if you just shake your head for a second. Yeah, I'm
welcome.
happy. Thank you. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I got a full hit.
I did, in fact, notice that. Was that on...
Okay.
Were you rolling to defend someone, or what was the rolling
Assess
for
the
that?
situation so I could
Perfect.
start building and do my thing. Oh
Okay.
wait, we all doing this?
Okay, so Cleo, please roll B plus superior.
Oh no.
A 9 is a
Nine.
hit. So choose 2 from your list. You can hold your choices from me for now, because that's 3 rolls so far. Mel, what are you doing in this moment here? Just working on keeping and helping people stay safe?
Yeah, helping civilians.
Give me a roll to defend or protect someone. Please roll plus savior. Oh my
Damn.
god, you guys are killing it tonight. For the audience at home.
Okay,
you
this
have
makes up for the fact that none of us rolled above a 6 for our first
Yeah.
5 rolls.
Yeah.
For the audience at home, we have an 8 from Zuchi, a 9 from Cleo, a 12 from Aurelia, and a 13 from Mel. On fire. So let's go ahead and handle this one in this following order. Let's start with Aurelia, because you're the one kind of like, as everyone's jumping into action, Cleo, you are pushing out your brain and trying to access and touch the mind of a thing that is very, very different than you. Mel, you are running off to keep civilians safe, making attention. You're flipping on, like, I imagine if you kind of leap up and like flip over in Spider-Man onto a lamppost and like directing people to follow you in your direction. Maybe popping a flare or some shit like that. I don't know.
Okay, no, I'm yeah, just trying to get to higher ground, like maybe one of the lower rooftops, and just shouting and trying to get people, like coordinating as much as I can with Sable and
Absolutely.
directing them further down the road away from the fight.
100%. You leap up high. There's a broken building where like it's in like carved into, so like it's like an open almost like outcrop that you can land on and start yelling to people. Sable is just swinging left and right, going, "Everyone, listen up to her up there! Keep your heads moving!" And just like swinging by and like giving instructions. Aurelia and 5, you two are flying up in tandem as you're kind of weaving around this thing. Aurelia, you're kind of more provoking and keeping an eye on things, while 5, you're just swinging and clashing blows with this thing. Aurelia, let's start with you. Let's answer some questions for you with that full hit. You get 2 questions from the list. What here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is the greatest danger? And you already answered the last one. I'll just give you the last one here. Who here is most vulnerable to me?
I thought you said if I assess the situation, I could charge up so I could start to, like, null their energy out, or like.
Yes, but if I'm still gonna give you questions too, definitely, just so you can have this.
Okay. Let me look at the questions again real quick. Sorry.
Sure. What here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? How could we best end this quickly?
I feel like we know all the answers. Like, what here's the biggest threat? The fucking kaiju.
Possibly, but I would
like...
give you a more specific. I would give you a more detailed answer than just the kaiju if you chose that one.
What here is in the greatest danger? Everybody.
That was a little bit more obvious, yes.
Who here is most vulnerable to me? There's only one thing.
It's up to you. What are you thinking? Like I said, if you went with what here's the biggest threat, I would give you an answer. I would give you an answer bigger than deeper than the obvious one for all these questions.
Okay, so what if could I like alter the question a little bit to be like, what here's the biggest threat to the kaiju?
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
And what's your second question?
Ooh, goodness. Could I also alter another question?
How so?
So instead of who here is the most vulnerable to me, like what here on this kaiju is the most vulnerable to me?
I'll give you both because actually the answer is the same thing. So, what here is the greatest threat to the kaiju is also the answer of kind of like what's the biggest threat to you guys, and also it answers the question of like what's the most vulnerable. That energy, that light that's pulsing in its chest, as you begin kind of feeling it out, trying to assess what it's like and trying to attune to it, you can tell that as this thing is swinging and fighting with 5s, that energy is building. It's starting to swell. It's gathering it more and more. Slowly, surely, definitely. But it's building to a swell of some kind. And you wager, once it's past that, I'm going to hate using this word, but once it's past that release point, you wager it's going to expel a lot of its energy, possibly most of it. So you're thinking, as far as what you could do with your abilities, you could increase the rate at which it's gathering up energy by pushing more energy into it until it reaches that swell point, basically. Force feed it.
Trying to go the other way.
Draining it out of it is difficult because as you're tuning into the energy, you're realizing nuclear energy is hazardous. It causes radiation. In fact, the fact that this thing is keeping all that radiation inside of itself means it's actually a very good thing for the people. Trying to get it to just like let energy out might be hazardous.
Okay. Could I eat the energy and just be like, like a filter?
Maybe, possibly.
Damn, I don't know.
But for now, that's what you have.
Okay. Everything you said, but in words that Aurelia would say, in her bitchy ass tone, she's gonna yell at 5.
All right.
So, does that mean keep fighting it?
Probably. It's an off, so like it's working itself up. You gotta work it up more.
In character, like me dumb.
Absolutely. 5s. You got an 8 on your roll, yes?
Yes, I did.
Pick one from the list. Resist or avoid their blows. Take something from them. Make opportunities for your allies. Impress, surprise, or frighten them.
I would like to create an opportunity for my allies.
Perfect. We come back in on this thing swinging its paw down, and you meeting it mid-flight with a punch, and you two clash. There's a wave of force. Glass shatters. Pressure washes out, and you are able to hold this thing, and then it's keeping its focus solely on you. And I'm gonna say, first off, roll take a powerful blow. If you could for me, please.
Yes, sir.
2d6 plus conditions.
Luckily, I don't have any right now. That's a 7, a hit.
All right, a 7 could be worse. You're gonna pick one thing from the following list. You can either lash out verbally, provoking a teammate to foolhardy action or take advantage of your influence to flip the condition. You can give ground, the opponent gets the opportunity, or struggle past the pain to mark 2 conditions.
So if I give ground, does that nullify the opportunity that I made for
No.
my allies, or just a different?
No, it won't nullify it.
Okay. This time I'm gonna struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions since I don't have any right now.
All right, what are you marking?
I'm gonna mark. Angry and afraid, cause holy shit, this thing is big. I'm
Absolutely.
just being the biggest thing. This is not cool.
You are swinging, slashing, chopping, slicing, and weaving through this thing's massive blows. It gets a good smack on you and sends you whirling. You smash into a building, and now you're pissed at this fucking thing. You smash your hand on the side of the building, break yourself out of the wall, and then take off back into the flight. And as this thing is solely focusing its attention on you, Cleo, you have maybe the best chance you're gonna get to lance into this thing's brain. What'd you get on your roll again?
I got a 9.
On a 9, pick 2 from your list. You can get an opportunity, expose a weakness or flaw, confuse them for some time, avoid further entanglement.
I'd like to avoid further entanglement for the people that are down here. While I confuse for some time.
Cleo!
Kaiju.
Cleo, you do the weirdest thing possible. You force this thing through its own memories. And by proxy, you as well. You see yourself in the depths of the dark ocean. Quiet, young, and hungry. See yourself crawl along the ground towards something, anything that looks like a meal. A small fish you snap in half and eat, it's not enough. A squid you tear open and devour, it's not enough. A crashed metal something. leaking something, leaking a glowing Icarus something. You gather it in your hands and consume it. It is delicious.
Oh no, it's
sweet.
secret of the ooze.
And you devour more and more and grow bigger and stronger and more and hungrier, and then you feel the burning, the swell rising in your chest like you are always on fire, like you can never cease burning. And you miss the ocean. You miss that cool, calming, quiet dark. And you focus on that lingering calm. Until suddenly, Fives, as you come around for an arcing pass, the kaiju, the tide beast, bats you away, turns, and begins a loping rumble down the street, tearing itself at a sort of different angle, but back the way it came, back towards the coastline. It is unfortunately still now tearing through more buildings, tearing through more street, and unfortunately for you all, picking up speed. But it is certainly making its way away from the city center. It's moving further back.
Okay. Could be worse.
Mel, what was that roll? Protect somebody. It was a 13, yes?
13, yes.
On a full hit, do the following thing. So, you absolutely keep them safe and choose one from this list. Add one team to the pool. Take influence over someone or the group you protect, or clear a condition.
Let's do team to the pool and
It's one from the list. Actually, no, sorry, you full hit. Choose two, my bad.
we'll do clear condition.
Clear a condition. The team pool's at 5. As Mel, you look down as Sable is swinging by. People are looking up at you, pointing. Look, it's Medusa! Follow her! Go where she's going! People are pointing in your direction, at everyone's direction, noting the Sirens are here to help. And they're calling you one of them. Medusa, one of Jump City's Sirens. And they're cheering even as they're running. They're happy to see that you're here. They feel safer knowing you're here with them. Sable lands next to you on a loping, spinning slide, and Slan lands next. Hey, not bad, Rook. You got him moving.
Not charming, I guess.
He goes, come on. You gotta move people together. The thing's fast, it's still going, and it's getting faster. You,
Yeah.
wanna ride?
Yeah, thanks.
Kind of leans his arm out. Come on.
Kind of hesitates for a second and then wraps an arm around just to,
He leans in.
like,
I'll be quick, don't worry. Don't barf. And then takes off on a line. Friends, you've still got a sprawling kaiju that looks like it's Aurelia building up more energy. However, it is running itself away from town. If you're gonna act, you gotta act now. What are you all doing, friends? How are you stopping this thing?
I'm gonna try my best to keep up.
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's running out of town, or is it, like, ransacking town?
It's moving back towards the coast, but it's not moving backwards down the same way it came. It's moving on a different angle, so it's still tearing through more stuff.
Okay, I might be wild in this, but, like, can Aurelia get inside the beast to the energy core?
That might be difficult. You have to catch up to it. So I need both of you to roll to unleash your powers, so you can go max speed.
Yes, sir.
Cleo, Mel, what are we doing?
I wanna jump on its foot as it's running. As I keep, like, I wanna try to kind of keep that, like, thought going of we want to go back to the ocean. We want to go back to the ocean. We don't want to be here. Because if Cleo knows anything about the soups in New Jump City, it's that they're gonna kill this kaiju. And this is just a misunderstood guy that like doesn't know what's going on, and they just should go back home. This is too much for it. So she is going.
Sorry, please.
I was gonna say that she is like attempting to. Because it's like a mix of distracting it, but also trying to use like reality storm to convince it like that's what you want to do before anything. Like you don't want to fight anybody, you don't want to cause harm, you just want to go home. You just want to find what's cool and safe and quiet, and this was all too much. So she would attempt to do like a reality storm. Like this is where they are at. This is the danger.
Give me that. And while you're getting that rolled, Mel, what's your game plan here?
I think this is going. You said it's going back the way it came, but it's not going its direct path. So it's going basically a new set of buildings, and it's a new set of.
Yep.
So I want to. I think. Oh, I want to assess the situation, but the questions don't fit because I want to assess oncoming danger from it. Like, can we get ahead to protect, like, what's in front of it?
Give me a roll to assess the situation. Let's go with a plus superior for you.
Nope.
That's all right. And I think I know why you don't really get at these situations. So, Mel, with Sable's help swinging, you're able to get ahead of this thing just barely and start looking at things. And obviously, you're still letting people know, trying to keep people clear of things. So you're like, helping people evacuate from buildings and clearing people away and directing workers while you're also watching this thing. As you see Aurelia and Five speeding as fast as they can towards it, and Cleo leap on its leg and hold on to it. You're watching the glow. And the reason why you don't really are able to like immediately react to anything is that you're recognizing it's starting to glow a lot brighter and faster. It's working itself up more and more and more. And Cleo, you are feeling that too. As the more you're pushing it, the more you're saying like, you don't want to be here. It's agreeing. It's wanting to get away from this. It's wanting to be away from all these noise and sound and light. But it's working it up more and more. And Cleo, the foot you're holding on to, it's starting to get warm. Very warm. 5, Aurelia, you're zipping as fast as you can. Max speed, both of you. 2 twin bullets racing after this thing as fast as you can. And you're getting there. You're approaching. You're getting closer. Aurelia, you can feel the energy this thing is building and swelling in its chest. It's gonna go overboard soon. Definitely. So you need to get this thing away or as close to the coastline as you can get it right now. You and 5. It's your only chance. Only then, and only then, could you maybe get inside of this thing and overload it.
Okay. So I work with 5.
What are you guys doing?
Close to the coast.
Actually, sorry, no. You guys both rolled. So don't even actually like roll anything. Tell me how you do it. 5s, tell me how you, at the speed you're going, keep this thing or get it closer to the coastline. Aurelia, how do you, when that moment is given to you, how do you overload this thing? Take it away, friends.
Oh, proposition of how Aurelia would assist me in bringing it to the coast.
Yeah.
For her to then enter the core.
Mm-hmm.
Could you use your density changing abilities to lighten the weight of the beast so I can pull it, essentially?
Oh, I would love to.
That would be
Absolutely.
rad. So I imagine that
Mhm.
as we're speeding to catch up, that we're kind of shouting back and forth about is this even fucking possible? Hopefully it fucking works. And Fives will grab with the talons of their feet the horns of the tide beast and just keep fucking going towards the coast.
To get to the point where 5, you grab this thing, Aurelia lowers your density, you accelerate. And again, the sound barrier ripples against your face. You push faster and faster, singularly focused on getting towards the coastline. The rest of you, as you're watching, Fives is dragging this thing. It's not it running anymore. It's almost sliding as it can't hold its own grip, and Fives is pulling this thing at Mach 2 toward the coastline. Mel, Cleo, this is a great time to tell everybody around you to get the hell down.
Meg, I think you're muted.
No, I'm just doing
Oh, okay,
things.
okay. I wasn't sure.
I'm just doing shit. Ignore me.
I fucking fuck with it.
If you will, if y'all don't mind, take the narrative for a brief moment. Sable and Mel both land on top of a high building, and Mel, you yell as hard as you can. Everybody down! Cleo, you don't yell. You psychically project the words, get down, as loud as you can, as far as it'll go. And almost on command, every single person that could hear or be mentally reached by this dives. Hands overhead, under buildings, behind cars, next to boxes. People throw tarps and drapes and umbrellas and bags over themselves. Everything they can to duck. And it's at that moment, Aurelia, you reach this thing. Max speed. Not literally like violently, but just sliding directly into its chest. Into this nexus well of nuclear energy. And as you feel it glowing and growing and you start gathering and pushing against it, all you have to do is just let go. And as you release 5, you have this thing held by the horn. It digs its legs and hands into the ground, trying to stop itself, trying to get its own momentum back under its own feet, and throwing its head back and forth until it lifts its head up, and a brilliant pink-violet beam of energy lances out, piercing a hole in the cloud line, high into the sky, like a concussive laser cannon. Everything goes bright purple and white for a brief moment. Everything gets quiet. Everything goes loud. And then suddenly, it fades. And when you finally clear your vision from the blinding light, the tide beast, with its head still high up, slumps its legs and collapses right at the side of the coastline, its head almost lapping against the water, and exhales a rush of steam from its mouth before its eyes close. It's asleep.
I'm happy it's asleep
Congrats.
so Cleo doesn't get mad at me.
Just worried for a second there.
Honestly.
Congrats, friends. You fought knockoff Godzilla and won.
Yay! I knew we could do it.
The city is still relatively in chaos all around you. Though as the dust settles and sirens continue to wail in the distance, you realize most people around are looking at the 5 of you, staring in awe, wonder, amazement. People are taking pictures, snapping videos, hugging loved ones, pointing and shouting, yelling, cheering. Cheering? Morphine, morphine, Medusa, Medusa, Banshee, Banshee, number 5. They're yelling for all of you. Your Jump City Sirens. What do you do? What do you say? How do you feel?
I just want to say you didn't ask this at all, but Morphe's in like her cuntiest like superhero like fighting outfit ever.
Mwah!
There's like white mesh here, and then she has that little like that little hoe thing where like they're cut ups at the hip, but it's like a little skirt, and then she has like her fucking boots that go up to her nipples. Like it's amazing. Yeah,
That
it's
last
great.
one caught the fuck out of me. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, cunty ass,
Okay.
Oh,
It was
shit.
good.
As she should.
Dang.
Other responses, reactions, feelings?
I think Fives is just gonna fly up into the clouds and vanish as much as they can from this scene.
Totally valid.
Aurelia's just gonna look at Cleo and Mel after Fives takes off. And just ask them, do you both need help getting home?
I'm just gonna make sure that fake Godzilla's okay real quick before I that decision next. She's gonna go give baby Godzilla little pants. Let it sleep and like kind of stroke its snout and stuff.
Aww.
I want a pet kaiju.
Too.
I'm not big enough for you?
No, you're great. I love you.
You're like really sentient and aware and stuff like that.
I'm a bad
This
dog.
one seemed less so, but it does have memories. Some sentience.
Yeah.
That's why it just needs a little bit of love.
Mel, any response?
I'm gonna see what they need help with as far as rescue efforts go. Because a lot of those buildings went down, and unfortunately, that means there were probably people inside.
Sable looks up. Well, they're not filing a report, I imagine, so I'll go do that, I guess.
Thank God I get out of the paperwork for once! I should bring Sable along to every mission, what the fuck?
I think we found our 6th siren. That's it.
I think Aurelia would offer to help Mel.
Yeah. Absolutely. I like that moment. And it's a really sweet moment of you two. Mel, you go to walk away and you see Aurelia floating behind you as if she's coming along.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything though.
I think I like leaving that wordless. But I think the camera, the next panels will show montages of you two helping people out. Fives, you having this sort of brief replete. I imagine it's almost like floating atop a cloud for a brief moment, just kind of like, oh boy. Cleo,
Yeah.
you're at the beach, rubbing this thing's snout. The panel will show it eventually open one of its many eyes, and while it doesn't happen on screen, it will eventually wake up and slink its way back into the ocean. So you can be certain it's cool now.
Good. I actually wanted to make sure that it went in the ocean and not into, I don't know, some identified government vehicle.
Then we'll say that happens now, even though it does cause a bit of panic and some people kind of start screaming again. Cleo, you watch as this thing kind of almost lumberingly, sluggishly pulls itself up like it just got the worst hangover in the world and just kind of until it slinks back into the water and slithers away under the waves. And I'll let you all separate for that, as, I'm going to do a little bit of a very brief time skip. You can all tell me... Actually, no, why don't you all tell me, assuming it takes a few hours to coordinate, clean up, and get things organized and everything, where do you go after everything gets quiet? Anybody got plans? Somewhere to be? Something to look into? A date? I don't know.
Go home.
Oh, for some reason I thought we were gonna pull up to the Habibi spot.
I mean, look, that's an option.
Halal
Like,
food. For some halal food.
okay, it's an option. Like, you could. I'm not saying you can't. Like,
But Aurelia wouldn't make that call because she doesn't eat.
Even Mel can only tolerate so much. She going home.
you know what? I respect that. Cleo, what are you planning on doing when everything's all cleaned up?
Cleo will make her way back home, swinging into a bodega to buy any type of chips she can, and petting the neighborhood cat that lives there.
The manager.
The manager of the establishment.
Hmm.
When I was out in Milwaukee recently, there was dogs at the hotel that were considered the managers. Two dogs that just sat on a counter all day long. And they loved it. They were so sleepy.
And Five, how about you? What are you gonna get into when once it's all settled down?
I think Five's honestly, Fives will probably return to Nova HQ and apologetically help Sable finish the paperwork. I think in the shock of the nuclear wave of energy that was expelled, they were a little bit shaken and brought back to that memory that they recalled earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a bit of processing and just unsettling for them. But I think that paperwork must be done. They always love getting good grades on their papers.
Makes enough sense. Sable's off to Nova HQ. Cleo's headed home to check out the local bodega. Aurelia, you got any place you want to be after this all settles?
I think Aurelia's gonna go people watching. Wait, was her tower of depression and isolation intact after the attack?
Jump Towers is perfectly fine.
Okay, she's gonna go people watching in the highest point. But translucent so people can't see her.
Sounds perfectly fine to me. As you're all separating and, parting all your ways and going about your places and doing about your things, Jump City settles into what looks like it's going to be certainly a much quieter evening than its afternoon was. But before we part, we're going to follow one of our Sirens on their afternoon trip home. Mel, you are parting from the edges of South Night City, moving towards, Central District and eventually towards your homestead. And as you're walking, you see a couple of people, mostly, people are always on the street and moving and keeping around. But in this case, you notice that there's a bit of a crowd outside of a TV shop, or electronic shop, looking at a TV monitor in the window.
Let's go take a look.
It's, not surprisingly, a report about this afternoon and what happened. It's a talk about the attack of the Tide Beast, which is only the third time it's ever appeared in about 60 years in Jump City. This thing does not show up very often, but it's a beast that, funnily enough, Cleo, you were worried about someone killing this thing. No one's been able to. It's the funny thing. It's just been around. And it's mostly a thing where Jump City monitors it and tries to, keep it distracted and away from the coastlines, but occasionally it slips through and every now and then. Thankfully, it's a city full of superheroes. And in this case, Christian Fox, narrator of Jump City News, says, those heroes happen to be our resident Jump City Sirens, making a splash for themselves all over local social media and in the hearts and minds of young heroes and aspirants all around. This intrepid new group, while still yet known, appears to be making a great name for themselves and what they're capable of. Some say they are reckless and maybe perhaps a bit juvenile in their methods. Others say they are the forefront of what the city needs to be. Young heroes with their own initiative, their own aspiration, their own drive to do good. And, others would say, in the coming days for what looks next, with Nova eyeing the city with more control, these 5 may be exactly what we need. This is Christian Fox, Jump City News. The report fades away. Look at that. You getting famous on me? A voice says from next to you, Mel.
Who's the voice? Before I gauge my reaction.
It's a hot boy
Familiar.
alert if I've ever heard
Is it
one.
Grayson?
Oh, it's worse. It's Jet.
Hot boy alert! Oh no!
Going to look to her side and look up at Jet, and I imagine he is like looking dead at her, so there's like no mistaking, like
Mm-hmm.
right, you know.
Yep. Relax. Not causing trouble. Just out for a walk. You know, I still don't know why Vol told me. You've met Vol by now, right?
Earlier today, actually.
Damn, his timing's good. Anyway, I don't know why he told me who you are. Don't think it matters, but must for him. Regardless, I don't know why you ain't telling people who you are, given, you know, who you are, but I figure it's important. And I ain't a rat. He turns his head away. Also, sorry about your sister. He didn't mean it. He's not a bad kid. He just gets himself worked up too much and can't control it.
I know.
You know where he is?
Feels like a dangerous question to answer.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. Is he
It's okay.
good? Is he scared?
Yeah. But he's doing his best to stay brave.
You'll see him ball his fist beside himself, enough that it shakes. I'm not letting him stay wherever they got him.
Right. Look, I can't stop you from trying. But be careful. Because if he found out anything happened to you, that would be a tipping point.
I know. And I know I ain't strong enough to do what I gotta do to get him back. I ain't stupid. You talk to him?
Yeah. For a little bit.
Why? Sorry, not trying to be weird about it, but he's not your business. Just some kid to you.
He's a kid that needs help.
Just like that for you heroes, huh?
I don't know about some heroes, but it's like that for me.
He gives you a look that, while still focused and confused, is notably softer than his usual ever-furrowed brow. The next time I see you, we're probably going to be fighting. You know that, right?
I'm gonna figure out a way to win next time.
Good luck. We'll both need it.
Davis, you shouldn't go making any deals with Ball.
He looks back. If I needed advice, I would have came to you for it. I'm gonna do what I have to get done to get him back. You let me worry about that. You worry about stopping me. He turns away and takes a few steps, but hand in his pocket does stop, with his back turned to you a little bit away from you. And Milena, thanks for keeping an eye on him. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Anytime.
Takes a step away, starts whistling, and walks off down an alleyway. Do me a favor, Mel. Take influence over Jet, please.
Oh!
As we bring tonight's episode to a close. I want to thank you all for coming out to a lovely episode of Jump City Sirens. Ran a little bit longer than intended, but was a great time all the same. I have with me a table of incredible people, and I have still remained Foxy. So in the order that I call you out, friends, please tell me who you are, who you're playing tonight, where you can be found on the internet, and what other cool things you got coming up. Let's go in reverse order this time and start with the incomparable Meg Mysteria.
Hello, I am Meg Andor Meg Mysteria. Tonight I played Mel Dracos, otherwise known as Medusa. She is getting the lecture of a fucking lifetime next episode, I'm sure. But you can find me on Twitch, on Twitter, on Itch, on Twitch, on Blue Sky. Yep, that one. As far as what I've got coming up, I think, is it next week that we have Tears of Divinity? I think it is.
Next Tuesday!
Next Tuesday, we have Tears of Divinity, Fading Chronicle, and as far as anything after that, I could not fucking tell you, so...
They'll figure it out. It's a
We'll
surprise.
figure it out. So I will see y'all next time.
Passing the ball up next to the one and only, very near and dear to my own personal heart, Egg Chan.
Hi, I'm Emily or Eggchan. I got to play number 5. You can find me as Eggchan on the internet, like on Twitch. Sometimes I stream. On Itch, sometimes I write things. And you can find me here on Saturday for Beacon Time. Knights of New Avalon game. Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. Glad to have you on board, keeping the ball rolling. Pass it over to the internet giant that is Corndog McGraw.
I'm on the internet at Corndog McGraw. You can catch me tomorrow over on Crits and Giggles for Dragon One. And you can catch me here on Monday for the other Dragon One.
The other Dragon One.
Otherwise, back here in 2 weeks. Back to you.
Yeah. Glad to have you here for it. Passing it over to the last, but very, very far from the least. It is, of course, the one and only Ollie, Peach Senpai.
I'm Ollie. And I played Morphine. Yeah. I exist.
That's all you got? Yeah.
That's all I got right now. You could catch me at my job, but don't go there because it sucks.
Fair and valid. And I guess that leaves it back over to me, friends. I'm Young Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also known as your favorite Fox Philly's finest. I'm all over the internet if you're looking for me at Young Foxy. It's YUNGFOXXII, sometimes with an underscore in the middle. Next place you're going to see me is, as mentioned, coming up this Saturday for another episode of Knights of New Avalon, and then back next Tuesday for another episode of Divinity Faded Chronicle, and then back again in, well, I guess next Friday for another episode of Steel and Harper, and then back next Wednesday after that for this again. And in between, you might just catch me in something new coming to your eyes. More on that to come if you watch our social media. Speaking of which, please watch our social media. Follow us at Neon Lights Roleplay on Blue Sky if you need to. Catch out our YouTube where you can have VODs of every campaign we've played so far, including this one going up in exactly 1 week. Watch old things. And if you like what we do and want to hang out with us a little bit more, please join our Discord. You can find a link to it right available in the chat. So links will pop up at any one moment. That's going to be where we hang out. We talk about great things. We meme. We dream. We pass around players for our lovely things. And we pass around ideas with each other. We also share a lot of love for each other. We have a great community full of incredible people. And we want you to be part of it. So please find your way over so we can welcome you on in. It's been incredible. I've been Foxy. This has been Jump City Sirens. We've been Neon Lights Roleplay. And you have all been incredible. Remember, free the good fight. Or fight the good fight. Stay free. Stay wild. Stay uncontrollable. And above all else, #free Grayson. Good night, guys.